Welcome to the PinLeader podcast, where strategic leaders get straight to the topics, strengthening our awareness and sharpening our minds. The PinLeader podcast is produced by Roar, a production division of Mays & Associates Ltd. Find out more at www.maysassociatesltd.com. Now here is your award-winning host, Dr. Shanda Gore.
And welcome back to the PinLeader podcast. Today we're going to be talking about living your best life. And life is with an acronym, L.I.F.E. And we're going to learn a little bit more about that. But I am glad to introduce you to Miss Michele Myerholtz, who is the Superintendent of the Lucas County Board of Developmental Disabilities. And if you didn't know, Lucas County is in the northwest corner of Ohio, for those that are in our different states and different countries listening. And it is the sixth largest of the state's 88 counties, so it's pretty big. She has spent her entire professional career dedicated to developmental disabilities system, and she started out as a direct support professional before joining Lucas County Developmental Disabilities 20 years ago, and started off as entry level. So she's got a wonderful story about starting in, coming in at entry level and working her way up and dedicating to her life to this. She's also served as an advisory board member for the Salvation Army of Northwest Ohio, and she's a member of the Lucas County Crisis Intervention Team Advisory Council. She's been presented at various conferences and asked to speak. You know, she is guided, and I love this about her bio. She's guided by servant leadership, which I attest to as well. She has a BA in Child Development from the University of Akron, and she also has a master's degree in Family and Consumer Sciences from Bowling Green State University, which happens to be my alma mater as well. Without further ado, I'm introducing you to Michele. Hi, Michele.
Hi, Shanda. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, welcome to the show. So the first thing I'm going to get to is, could you provide what that acronym LIFE stands for us?
Absolutely. So LIFE stands for, the L is living life, the I is inclusion, the F is freedom of choice, and the E is everyone has worth.
Excellent. Did you come up with that?
Not personally myself. I was part of a group of staff that kind of got together. It was back probably around 2014 that we really wanted to look at our mission and our vision and kind of revise them. It had been years and years and years since they had been changed. And so we wanted to revise them, refresh them, make sure that they were reflective of who we are today, or rather who we were in 2014, and kind of what we envisioned we would be into the future. So I was part of the group that worked to revise those. I actually very much love our mission is improving life so that individuals with developmental disabilities can reach their full potential. Not only does it roll off the tongue, but it just is so easy to connect with, and which is obviously really important. And then our values, having that LIFE as the acronym for our values for how we want the life for our individuals, you know, what we hope to achieve for our individuals. So it all flows well and has just been really helpful in getting our message out there and educating our community and our staff about why we do what we do.
Mm-hmm. You know, you are a leader in your area, in your field, and you're not only leading the organization, but you're impacting, and can I say tens of thousands of people? Because I'm not sure what your caseload, because we are in a county that is sixth largest. So can you explain how many clients you have in your caseload?
So we serve about 4,400 individuals, and we serve individuals potentially from birth through end of life. Not every person stays connected with us for their entire lifespan. Sometimes we're connected for early intervention, the birth to 3, and the baby gets the intervention they need, and they no longer need us after that. Sometimes we're not getting connected until the person is towards the end of their caregiver's life, so they might be in their 50s or 60s, the individual with disabilities, and we're getting connected at that point because then the family is looking for end-of-life planning, and how they want to make sure that their loved one's going to be taken care of once they're no longer here to do so. And we see everything in between, and we We have people that will kind of come and go into services based on what their needs are. So we are here to serve and meet people's needs the best that we can.
Mm-hmm. Well, over your 20 plus years of actually working with this population, it sounds like you have actually touched tens of thousands. And if you have 4,400 now, I can't imagine over your time of working in this population how many people you have positively impacted.
Well, and I guess certainly saying impacting tens of thousands now would be very accurate. The number of people that are actually like on our rolls, if you will, of serving is 4,400. That's just the individual. That doesn't include their family, their friends, their community. So it is more than just the individual that we serve. We really do have to look at the family and who else is in that person's circle. Could be their employer, other community activities that they do or organizations that they're involved in. We really do try to work with the whole person, their whole team, to try to help achieve whatever that person's best life looks like.
Mm-hmm. And this, just from you talking about it, and because you've given your life to service, what are you passionate about? It sounds like you're passionate about this, but is there a component to the passion that really sticks out for you?
Yeah, I am very passionate about helping the people that we serve, the people with disabilities, be able to live their best life, whatever that means for them. I appreciate having been in different roles throughout my career, starting off doing direct care myself. I do appreciate the opportunity to be in the role that I have now because I can make decisions that will affect the quality of services or the quality of life that a person may have. And while that feels sometimes to be a very heavy weight, it is something that I more than willingly take on because I do feel so passionate about making that happen. And so to be able to affect change and help people in that way, that really fills my cup.
It is one way. That's a blessing too.
Yes.
Sounds like it. I have to ask you, because you have got so much on your plate and because so many people rely on you to help them with their services, for their next step, guidance on what to do. And that's that holistic environment surrounding an individual who might need help. What do you find is your highest accomplishment?
Well, to me, my highest accomplishment has been staying true to who I am and the values and the ethics that I have that guide me. I am a faithful person, so in the Bible, in Romans 5 and James 1, it really talks about how trials and tribulations really lead to developing endurance, and endurance helps build our character. And so I've gone through a number of storms in my life, whether it be personal or career, particularly within the last few years. And so to be able to stay true to who I am, I really have had to rely on my faith a lot and use that to help make sure that I'm growing into the leader that God intended me to be.
Mm-hmm. We talk about leadership and what those characteristics are to be successful. PinLeader, we talk about the strength of character, which, again, you just alluded to that and how you see that. And then the being able to stay straight on the pathway, which you did allude to that too, but also being able to pivot and those storms do come along. And then, of course, being able to have that ability to stay sharp. And there's one thing that, you have got this experience. So you have the experience with the population that's helped you make decisions, right? And you have the education as well. Can you speak to the characteristics that you look for in a team member that can be part of your team and your expectation to be able to work with this population?
I think it's really important to have that strong character, strong servant leadership. I think is so important because focusing on, we work with people, not widgets. So it's important for our leaders, like when when I'm interviewing or I'm looking to fill a leadership position, do they have strong character? Do they care about people? Do they show those servant leadership qualities that are, I think, to me, there's no other way to be a good leader than to be a servant leader. Well, I think in any field, whether it's manufacturing, private sector, public sector, social services, I just think that's like the only way to be a leader to me. But because we work with people and it's such a vulnerable population, imperative to have those kind of qualities, because we have to be willing to pivot and meet people where they're at and walk alongside people to help them be successful. And so you have to care. You have to be trustworthy. High integrity, high character is just so important. That's what I look for when I'm looking for people.
What would you want people to know and understand about those with disabilities?
I get asked that a lot, and just people. When somebody outside of the DD system, if you will, people with disabilities are just people. They have likes and dislikes. They have strengths and weaknesses. They have goals and dreams. They have feelings, just like any of the rest of us do. And they just learn differently. They're just people. And they're pretty amazing people.
From my personal experience, they are amazing people. And they have so much to contribute. I think that working with them is enriching to anyone, and it's eye-opening.
Yes.
About the character that comes out and really the cool things that you can experience from having that interaction. Your workforce is probably, you've got people all over, right? And you probably go and interact with others that would be your peer.
Yes.
In other counties. What would you say is some of the challenges that you're seeing right now and thinking post-COVID with these interactions that may not have occurred pre the pandemic?
I think COVID had such a powerful effect on the world. In some ways, very positive, but in many ways, not. I think one of the things that we're combating is just remembering why we do what we do. It is about serving individuals and their families and helping them have the best life. So there are 88 counties in Ohio, and each county has their own county board of developmental disabilities. Every single other superintendent that I've talked to are experiencing the same thing. I mean, we are not unique in Lucas County with the things that we're experiencing with whether it's with our own workforce or whether it's with experiences out in the community or whatnot, to where just getting people back into why we do what we do, I guess, is probably, I know that's not super specific, but it's kind of the best way to describe it, I guess. It's just why we do what we do. It is, customer service is so important. And I won't pretend to try to say it word for word because I don't want to butcher it, because I just love the quote from Maya Angelou about people remember how you make them feel. They're not going to remember necessarily what you say, but they're going to remember how you make them feel. And so how do we leave people feeling? That is what I have said that to my staff over and over. When people interact with us and then we leave them, how have we left them feeling? We need to make sure that we have left them feeling as positive as possible. Even if we had to say no about something that they needed or asked for, or no, I'm sorry, tell them why to the best that we can, and be compassionate about that. You can tell somebody no in a compassionate and respectful way and maintain the relationship because they know that you care, that they might not have gotten the answer they wanted, but they know that you care and you're still going to try to help them. It just might be in a different way. Mm-hmm. That is how we need to leave people feeling, not frustrated, not disgruntled, not feeling like we weren't helpful, because that is our purpose, is to help families and individuals live to their full potential. That is our purpose.
And to their fullest life, right?
Yes.
With that L.I.F.E.
Yes. Right.
Oh, well, I can't thank you enough for this time to come on and just share that. And, your perspective and the impact that you're making in the communities. Some people may not ever understand all that you and your staff work with and deal with, but the fact that you're touching so many outside of just that individual and the communities that surround them, that's just fantastic. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And for those that tune into the show, thank you so much for sharing, liking the show. And if you have any feedback or thoughts that you'd like to share with us, don't forget to send us an email at info@mazeassociatesltd.com. And until next time.
The PinLeader podcast is hosted by Dr. Shanda Gore and brought to you by Maze & Associates Ltd, creating customized solutions for growth in the areas of leadership development, strategic planning, and culture building. Find out more at www.mazeassociatesltd.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the PinLeader podcast and share with others.